you have a mic?
I'm alive, hello!
Oh my god, I'm not on the screen so I can't see myself seeing myself.
You can't see. Alright, 1 minute, so...
So are we
That's in
live?
chat already.
Is this what's going on?
Hello friend, hello Rob Vlogs.
And I do.
It's Robert.
He
Hi
does,
Robert.
I'll run 100 push-ups.
Does Robert do vlogs now? Or is his name
It
Robert?
runs 10
You know I need to mention Robert in every single live stream we do.
Yeah, you do.
So, is this a different Robert?
No, this is our David Robert.
Or David Robert?
This is David Robert.
David Robert?
Hi, David
That's my
Robert.
dad's name.
So it is.
Where is it?
I've washed my hair today, so I'm all healthy. I'm all here, see?
He can't die fully.
I am trying to keep track of this on Periscope, but it's crashing my phone, which, ironically talking about crashing, we'll get into it later about crashing. So quick rundown of things for this podcast. I've got a light-hearted story, first to have a conversation about. I've got an intriguing story that is, I heard what it is, and then have learned a lot more about it by looking into it for this. And we have a story that's kind of just funny, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Bandersnatch. We will tell you when we're going to talk about Bandersnatch, so if you want to watch it and you haven't yet and you feel like we might spoil it, you can turn off.
We'll give you a warning, we'll give you a fair warning.
But we're not going to try and spoil it. And besides, it's kind of impossible to spoil it.
Yeah, there's so many potential storylines and endings that we might spoil a couple of them, but it wouldn't be.
It's irrelevant.
You could try, you could go through it over and over again, and it would change every time. So yeah, totally.
So okay, do you want to just get started with the third ever #SendNudes podcast?
Hello. Yes.
So okay. So like I say, I'm going to start heartwarmingly with a heartwarming conversation topic, and our heartwarming conversation topic. Heartwarming conversation topic is, I don't know if you saw this. There's an elderly couple that has been playing Mario Kart 64 since 2001. Have you seen this?
To decide.
Did you see this? An elderly couple playing Mario Kart every day since 2001.
To decide who makes the tea.
In the morning.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
So good.
It's so nice.
I can see Michelle and I doing that.
Well, see, this is what I was going to ask. Was what game would you do that with?
I would have to. It would be Mario Kart, to be
Why?
honest. Oh no, actually no. I think
Pokemon
Michelle
Stadium.
and I, no, it would be Tekken.
Oh.
Probably Tekken Tag.
No, I think at the moment, the way Michelle's not here, she's never on the stream anyway. But I think at the moment she would challenge you to Worms, because she's on a Worms kit.
It's true. It's true. But I think Tekken would, because just for the speed of it more than anything, if we're sitting there for. Fair enough. Well, this couple played Mario Kart to.
Well, they played Bubble. What's it? Balloon Bash. Balloon Battle.
It's the battle system. Yeah.
So they're like.
They don't actually race.
But that's a long time. That is 18 years.
That is.
No, 19, 18.
Something like that. But yeah, it would probably be Tekken in our house, to be honest, because that seems to be the long-standing rivalry between Michelle and I.
But is that like Tekken first to one knockout, or is that like best of 3?
Probably best of 3, just to keep it even, I would say. But yeah, no, it's adorable.
I know.
That they've been doing it for so long and they're still doing it to this day.
I know. I don't think. See, the thing is, my girlfriend doesn't really game. We've been playing, like, this is going to annoy everyone that's watching this. We've been playing an app a lot, which is called the Bacon Game, which is literally. There are arguments about that. Which is the Bacon Game, which is literally just bacon in a frying pan, flipping it on top of things.
Happy Hunter says if they were to do it, it would be Pokemon Silver.
What?
Just to make you aware, we are still open at this point in time, so if one of us has to disappear, that's probably because there's customers to take care of. As Sam said, Michelle's not here this evening, she's an appointment, so normally she would take care of all the customers, but unfortunately we have to do it for this evening, just for this podcast. Welcome, say hi, you're on camera. Just to the side of the camera.
Just to the side.
This is Sam's acquaintance, Malcolm.
It's me.
Acquaintance. Acquaintance.
Oh,
sorry.
more than that. Come on. Just describe it.
Filling in for Sam this evening is Malcolm.
I
think he's setting up Guitar Hero for those two gentlemen in the background. So, yeah, that was a heartwarming story. I don't know if Sam basically takes care of all the content for this while I just sit here and do the technical stuff in the background. So,
yeah, prepared essays
for this. So yeah. Happy Hunter also plays the Bacon Game.
The Bacon Game is so good.
You've moved from camera to camera, Sam.
Oh my god, it's almost like this is a small shop.
Where are you moving on to?
Skate 3.
Skate 3, okay.
No, on this is Skate.
Yeah, no, we're not playing Skate 3. Skate 3 has been requested in the arcade, which you can see over to this side here. Anyway, so yeah. I don't have anything to talk about because I didn't do any content because I suck at this. So we're waiting on Sam. Really, I should be serving the customers, but Sam talks about content. Next time as a customer, I'll jump out. It's my turn. Okay.
So, are we moving on from that? I was just going to say the bacon game is all.
The bacon game. So that's how you guys decide
who makes the bacon.
Who makes the bacon?
No, you can't really compete at the bacon game. I'll show you the bacon game later.
I don't know what the bacon game is.
But there's not really like the competition aspect to it, aside from just who can do it fastest.
Fair play.
But yeah, we can move on. That was just like a heartwarming. Like I needed to talk about that because I saw it yesterday and I was like, this is adorable. The other thing is less adorable. One of our regular customers, who I think I have mentioned before in this podcast, Marco, he mentioned that in the US at the moment, they've implemented laws which is that any game in the US has to be accessible. It has to be accessible for people with audio problems or... Oh, thank you very much to Duke of Silver, by the way, for saying that they love this place on Twitter. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I sounded really sarcastic there, genuinely, thank you.
I don't think I've got the chat working properly because it just seems to be bringing up YouTube chat, whereas there's no Twitch or Periscope chat.
That's good. That's alright.
I'll monitor it via my phone.
I can see chat on here, but I can see... yeah, alright, so Marco's said woo a mention. Yeah, so Marco was talking about that. Games need to be accessible in the US now for anyone who has a learning impediment or a visual impairment. Which is fair. But it's the wording. This is something that's existed in the US since 2010.
Right.
But it has not been attributed to video games until January 1st of this year, which was when it relapsed on making that legal. So it hadn't applied to video games between 2010 and now, and as of January 1st, it now applies to video games and video game content, which is good. It's fair enough. Video games are supposed to be inclusive. We want to be more inclusive. There's the accessibility controller for people who have physical disabilities, being developed by what's the name of the company down south?
Special Effects.
Special Effects, who are lovely people that we saw at Resonate.
Yeah.
Great people. Great concept, great controller, love everything about it. This is to make it accessible for people whose things aren't purely motion based, which is good. The problem I have is in the wording of the law, which is you're supposed to make it accessible with reasonable effort and expense, which is to say, if it's too expensive for a studio to implement these laws, to implement this aspect of the law in their game, they don't have to do it. You're not legally required to do it if it's deemed too, like, with reasonable effort and expense. Which I don't understand why there's a monetary attachment, like why that should matter. Like, it should just be a blanket law, like everyone's impacted by this. But at the same time, I think it's supposed to be like inclusive of smaller independent studios who maybe don't have the opportunity to hire a member of staff whose job is just to oversee subtitling all of the game and inclusion of things.
So it would be that workload would be passed on to somebody who already has a specific job in the game, and then they would...
Or they would need to hire another person, which is increased expenditure.
Would they get any extra payment for doing that extra work, or would it just be...
Not from the government. The assumption there would just be that the extra payment would come from, oh, now more people are likely to play your game. I would say that this is possible, and not to talk about the saviours of gaming. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but I think a lot of people talk about a lot of Rockstar content at the moment, and Malcolm behind me very kindly got me Red Dead Redemption 2 for Christmas. It's installed on my Xbox. I've not played it yet. We're not going to talk about it just now.
Oh my god.
But I do have it.
I haven't played it yet either, to be fair.
But here's the
Oh, don't. Oh, come on.
Here's the thing.
I'm on an arcade. I'm not going to tell you playing video games.
That's a weird statement. So I think it can be as simple as the way Rockstar does games. I say simple. They put a huge amount of money into things,
A lot
but
of resources.
everything has subtitles. There's audio cues in terms of if you're getting shot from the right hand side, you hear the bullets from the right hand side, while on the screen at the same time there are hit markers to an extent.
Yeah.
So like that it can be as simple as that. That is it. To a large degree, that's all you need to do. But the fact that there's the cop out of, you can say, well, to us it exceeds this amount of cost, and as a result we don't feel like we deem that it's over the amount of reasonable effort and expense. And I think that's wrong. I think you shouldn't have that opportunity to back out. I think it should be up to games. If you're going to do that, it should be up to everyone to be on that same level.
Happy Hunter's come in with a point saying, if you made Nerve Gear, then all problems would probably be resolved because the artificial touch, sound and sight.
Nerve Gear as in like...
Nerve Gear, so that connects to the various nerves within the human body, hands, wherever, across the body completely, and it takes input from direct nerve input.
So is that that's just a result of putting sensors on
Yeah.
It's not it's not putting a microchip inside your body. Which actually, one of my friends, Harry, if you ever watch this, I doubt you will because you're mean.
Okay, I can say that I've lost.
Yeah, so Marco, the person who brought this up, basically said it sounds like the law will make no difference to anything. I think it will.
If anything,
I'll come back to my tangent later.
Did Microsoft know about this then coming forward? Because obviously they've done a lot of work with the accessibility controller to get here.
This is irrelevant to the accessibility controller.
Okay.
It is purely an aspect of. The other thing is it's not supposed to impact how the game is played.
So it's a software based.
It's a software thing.
I know, but did Microsoft know that this was coming and therefore?
I can't speak for Microsoft in any respect, but I think if you've got a company that's got the forethought to go, well, this law was passed in 2010, it resets in 2018, and it's not a Disney situation where they're just going to re-up the fact that it doesn't impact video games. Of course it's going to impact video games. I think preparing and getting that good graces early is a good idea from any prospective business, and Microsoft is a multi-billion-dollar company at this point. Of course they've got the foresight to go, you know what, maybe being as inclusive as possible is a useful thing. So what I was going to say in my transition, talking about microchips in the bodies, Harry's cousin has a body modification, which is a microchip in his index finger, which allows him to detect electrical currents.
I think I lost.
So,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's interesting.
I don't know why.
I don't think I would go that route.
I know some people get microchips in their wrist so you can pay contactlessly with your skin.
So, Happy Hunter's asking on YouTube, who was it that came up with the law? Was it the US government that passed that law?
It's US government passed, signed in by President Barack Obama.
Okay.
So
that was back in 2010.
So it was. I don't know who pushed for the law or who came up with the law, but it's passed within the US. It's a case of any US-based developer has to comply with this, and then if you're looking to get your games sold in the US, you also have to comply with this, which is every gaming franchise in the world, aside from some Japanese ones, is aiming for the US market because it's one of the biggest video game playing markets. So of course you're going to comply with those laws. It is also, it's one of those things like, I would like it to be a flat monetary thing, and I would like it to be universal. I'm not just wanting it to be in the US, but it's a good start. It's a good start. I also think, ironically, in our previous podcast we talked about the worst games of 2018, and one of them was The Quiet Man, if you remember that. And I said ironically wouldn't comply with these rules because there's no subtitles. So I was like, oh, the game about a deaf protagonist wouldn't
disability is not accessible to disabled people.
No, it's like, that's actually quite funny.
Sorry, again, I'm just having hairy issues.
You're just having hair issues? Oh, you're having hair issues? I'm sorry for you.
Luckily the camera cuts off the top bit of your head, so
of my head, so no one can see my sick hat.
Sick hat.
Because I'm bald.
Yeah, you said you were going to be bald the other day, and I was expecting you to have completely shaved everything.
I was wearing the hat you brought me.
Kind of looking forward to that.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Okay, like I say, summation, I want it universalized, and I want it universalized in terms of money as well. It shouldn't just be, if you can, it should be you have to. You good? Andy's dealing with controllers, and I'm sipping from my cool Asterix mug because I forgot that normally I drink out of R-CADE mugs because that is good promotion.
I think I'm gonna try fire a game on for us to play for the next 40 minutes or so. Okay. But I'll make it a single player and we'll just take turns.
If you want, yeah.
Alright. If I can
fine with me.
find everything I need on here.
While you're doing that, I'll move on to the next topic, which you might have seen. which is.
There, Sean. Yeah.
Can I just charge my phone?
Right on the camera. There's your phone.
Sean, you need to now. You need to come and say what's up. Come and say what's up. Come on.
Our
Come
customers
on.
are so annoying.
Sean wants the
I'll be
charger.
back in 2 seconds. I'll leave you with Sam to chat away.
Well, I will harass you now. And you have to talk to me. Sean, you have to talk to me about this.
Oh, great.
Have you seen this news? Have you seen this news story? I'm talking to Sean now, by the way. Actually, if you want to go do that, you can go and do that.
No, fine.
Did you see the thing about the autonomous robot that got ran over and killed by a self-driving car?
No, I haven't.
So, an autonomous robot, a robot built for doing things on its own independently, was killed in a hit and run by a self-driving car in Las Vegas. Do you know what's best? You can go. Do you know what's best about this? It was so basically it's a company called PromoBot, which I do want to shout out because it's a super cool idea. For $2,000 a day, you can hire this robot which can have a conversation with customers for private events to promote your services, right?
We should still get one in here.
No, we shouldn't. That's way too stupid as an expense, and we can do this job very well. But say you're like at a release for say you're like showing your new renewable energy company, and you have these robots, and people are like, "Well, how does the company work?" And he goes, "Well, it works like this." Really cool. But basically, it was in Las Vegas, and they were doing a event where basically you're just showing it to people who might invest in your company.
Yeah.
So they had all the robots, and this is my favorite part. They had all the robots, and they were leading them through the streets of Las Vegas like children.
Okay.
And they were just in a line, and one of them strayed out of the line and went into a parking lot where a self-driving Tesla ran into it and killed it. Do you know what the best part of this is, Internet? And the eagle-eyed viewers will know what I'm talking about. It's Short Circuit. The plot of Short Circuit has come to life, and then it's like what would happen if in Short Circuit instead of getting on a van he gets hit by a truck? Like that's literally what this is. This is the alternate reality Short Circuit where we were this close to robots fighting in the forest, and now we have one that's been hit by a car.
It's mildly comforting as well, if you really think about it, because everyone gets the fear that Skynet is going to take over Terminator style.
It just hates itself.
But they're not. The AI is not there yet.
No, it just runs over other AI. But I just love all the photos because obviously it's like an autonomous robot that's supposed to be comforting to people, so it's got this big smiley happy face, and it's just on the side of the road like dead. And I think it's hilarious. I love Short Circuit. If you haven't seen that movie, you have to see that movie and the sequel because it's garbage. But I just love that this is legit, like 100%. It's just if Short Circuit got hit by a car, this is what Short Circuit would have been. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that being the ending to Short Circuit.
Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to play a game.
Do I play? I should have said we should have played a Choose Your Own Adventure game
We totally could.
based on our conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been.
Did you just get that reference there, Malcolm?
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
Okay, quick question. Do you think a one-punching dragon that just went Super Saiyan could beat Senpai, who has a massive gun blade and is basically Damien, like the son of Satan?
I think yes.
That's
So
the
Senpai wins?
No. I think.
Oh, the
ask the
dragon?
internet.
Yes, what do you think, Internet? Do you think...
You really don't want to be a camera here. I'd go for dragon with one punch powers.
I was more on that side about the whole one-punching dragon. I think
So wait, what were the options again? So the guys,
Wait,
I'm just going to explain to the internet. The guys at the table are playing Super Fight Anime Edition, which is a game you're more than welcome to play if you come down for free. So they basically have built two characters and they're battling against each other to see who wins. So what are the characters?
A dragon, a blue and white dragon, was it?
Blue Eyes White Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Definitely that dragon. Definitely that
that
dragon.
can one punch and just went Super Saiyan.
So it's gone Super
Is
Saiyan.
that versus what?
Senpai with a massive gun blade and is the son of Satan.
Oh no, it's
dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Okay, right.
Super Saiyan 2 as well?
Yeah,
Super Saiyan 2. Duh.
Sorry,
Why was that ever a
I don't
question?
even need to ask the internet that one. Come on.
That's stupid. Get out of my face.
That is very silly.
I don't know if the son of Satan is like invulnerable to everything though.
Gonna review R-CADE Glasgow.
Ooh, Malcolm's reviewing us.
Interesting.
Just before we move on to that, because obviously, as I said earlier, I think our next topic is going to be Bandersnatch. just because I've run out of topics. And I've got quite a lot to say about this from various angles. But before we move on to that, what's coming up this week? What's going on in the world of arcade again? What have we got going on?
Oh, we're going to do an arcade roundup. Alright, okay. So this Thursday is Poke Club.
Ooh! Is that this?
Which has probably changed by the time I see it on the stream because I'm on the wrong window here. Yeah, Poke Club starts... No, sorry, it's not Poke Club. This Thursday is our first club night. Actually, sorry, Happy Hunter on YouTube says Blue Eyes White Dragon would always destroy Senpai.
Mortal Kombat? Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, we're trying to do
yeah, so this Thursday is our
during the day,
first
and
Japan
Mortal
Club.
Kombat's technically an 18.
So every Thursday is going to be a
I
different
know
club
it's
night
a weird
here
thing we
at
have where
Arcade
like
from 6
the
till
older
8
games
for you
aren't
to
as
come
bad as
down.
newer games, but they're rated
This
worse.
Thursday is
Just for
Japan
this
Club,
kind
where
of
we're
thing.
going to start talking about learning
So the way we do it
language,
is
learning of
it's
Japanese history and
family
culture.
friendly from 12
So
to
if
7
you're
every
free
day.
on a
And
Thursday
we close
evening,
at 7
this week
for
the first
Tuesday and
first
Wednesday
week
and
of the
Thursday.
month,
But Friday and Saturday
Japan
from
Club.
7 onwards
Second
is
week of the
over
month
18s
is
only.
Arcade Club.
And
This is
it's
our video
instead of
game
the
centric
£5 for
club,
there, it's
so
£5
it's all
for the
about
rest
the
of the
latest
night.
video games
And
we'll
that
talk
can be
about,
7
new
until 9:30
announcements,
or 7 till
anything that's
10:30,
coming up.
just how
We'll
many
also
people
look
here
at
and
doing
what's
sort of
going
high
on.
score competitions
So
and tournaments,
that's
there's sort of short
there's also an
tournaments
option for
during
you
Arcade
to
Club.
do
So that's the second
Are there any
week
other games I can get you? I
each
can get you some other
month.
similar
Then on
games
the
like
third week of each month you'll
some,
be...
there's Street Fighter 2 as you've already seen, but I can throw in some Tekken or a
It's
different
Poke
Street
Club.
Fighter.
Yeah, it's Poke Club. So Poke Club is
Yeah, just check it out.
Pokemon-centric club night for members. So we'll be playing all the different versions of Pokemon across all the different handhelds. We'll be playing Pokemon Go. Of course, we've got a Pokestop here at Arcade, so you can make use of that. We'll be talking about starting up maybe group meets to do actual walks for Pokemon Go, and we'll also be doing Pokemon trading cards, so loads of Pokemon trading card game battles as well. Actually, something interesting Sam and I came up with, or Sam came up with, is, if I can find it, this folder here. So if anyone wants to take on any of the staff at Arcade at a game of Pokemon, if you manage to beat us, then you can get to pick from our random selection of Pokemon cards as your prize. So you get 3 Pokemon cards if you manage to beat one of us here at Arcade. So that's the third Thursday of every month, and on the final Thursday, the fourth Thursday of every month, we will be doing modding club. So it's all about modifying games consoles, controllers, either doing custom paint jobs, sort of doing weird mods where we hook up different things together. I'm going to be doing a few different builds. Doing some software mods as well, so if you're interested in doing software mods on retro games consoles, then I've basically done quite a lot of stuff, so you can come in and ask me a lot of questions and I'll help you out. So Modding Club is the fourth Thursday of every month. Occasionally there will be a fifth Thursday, certain months, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, this week, coming up this Thursday, is Japan Club. We're going to get everybody down, we're all going to start learning Japanese language together. We're going to be using Duolingo, so we're going to start a group on that. Everybody can come in together and we'll be competing against each other in Duolingo to try and be the best person in the group and learn as much as possible and as fast as we can. Happy Hunter, I think you're asking if we do Yu-Gi-Oh! We don't do Yu-Gi-Oh! Ourselves. I don't play. Sam does. Sam does play Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you want to come down and try to take Sam on, then you're more than welcome to. We've got a big, giant, massive table, which is free to use. So we don't charge for board games or card games. So if you want to come down and play, you're more than welcome to. We've got loads of Japanese snacks and drinks that you can keep yourself going with. So as well as the video game side of things, we also do the cafe side, so you can just come down and play games on the big table for free. So yeah, if you want to come play Yu-Gi-Oh, go for it. Anyway, so that's Thursday. Friday this week is Arcade Lakes as always, and I think Saturday evening is going to be our Guitar Hero night, so I'm going to throw on Guitar Hero on the big screen. I'm going to get the drum kits, the guitars, the microphones, everything out for that, so Guitar Hero night. Oh, it's on. Happy Hunter says it's on for Yu-Gi-Oh, by the by. You have a challenger. So it's really cool. Sam's been teaching kids actually how to play Yu-Gi-Oh over the last few weeks, so it's something really, really nice.
Very badly. Just so I can beat them in the future.
Oh, is it working now? Should I maybe?
All right. So the other thing is, we haven't been doing this yet, but Malcolm sitting behind me, my best bud, known him for 14 years. On his personal Instagram, he's just asked people to tell him like food places, like fast food restaurants that they think are overrated, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What are some of the ones that you've got?
Okay, so far I've got 2 submissions for Nandos.
Oh, I agree with that. Nandos is
Burger King and Nice. is accompanied by pints.
So I agree with Nandos. Nandos is overrated. Burger King, the only thing that's good in Burger King is the nacho chili cheese bites and the bacon double cheeseburger XL. Which, apologies to any vegetarians watching, but everyone that I know that likes Burger King likes that sandwich, and I'm on the same side.
I've had a submission for Macca's as well. Macca's being McDonald's, that's also up for debate. I've had grief saying that it's Macca's, not Macca's. But,
I'd say Macca's.
We will see.
I'd say McDonald's.
Some people have said Domino's. Some have said...
Domino's is, I don't know.
I think Nando's is the most popular one.
Nando's is the most popular.
Yeah, I think it's the price.
Yeah, that's fair. Guys, Nando's over...
Nando's over what?
No, I'm not over...
Nothing, actually.
Is Nando's too popular? Is it overrated? Sorry, that's what I'm
No, I think Nando's is the best.
The best? That's pretty overrated.
You want your phone back?
Yes, please. I think
Not gonna lie, Nando's beats KFC.
Yeah, but both of them suck.
Yeah, they're both terrible.
KFC sucks more.
Just get your local chicken.
I was Guts and Speed Racer and I still lost.
What if I can't afford it?
I don't think I can beat
No, I'm saying your local chicken place.
Like,
Your local chicken place will be cheaper than KFC.
So, the button configuration for Spider-Man's all messed up. I
Is there
can't
no fried
web sling
chicken
because I don't have an R2.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 and Electro, but I don't have.
Intellectual.
I don't have an R2.
Why not?
I don't know. The button mapping's all wrong.
What is
on
R2
this
supposed
controller.
to be? Are you guys
R2's
off?
web swing, so I'm
Who won the last
kind
round?
of stuck on this route.
Yeah. This was too ultimate.
No, see, I'm just coming to say it again. Spider-Man.
Are you guys swinging by later this week?
Oh yeah.
Alright, okay.
I'll be over on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
I won't be here till
So
Friday.
the button mapping's all wrong. I can't web sling, so I'm kind of messed up here.
That's nice.
Figure out how to get back out again. So.
Cobra the best just said pizza time. That's not. Are you implying? Is that a Spider-Man reference that I'm not getting, or just because?
Yeah, I think they were going for the. Oh no! What happened there?
Oh.
Oh, there it is. It's back.
See, I'm telling you, Nando's is overrated, but a lot of people
I
have said
hate
otherwise.
Nando's.
Yeah,
so much.
it's so overpriced.
Yeah, and all
You
get
either
is
love it or hate it.
really bad chicken with some really bad sauce.
Every time I'm in there, I at least spend 50
Wow.
pounds.
So are you
Not
like
Nando's
happy
fan.
with your
I
being
love
banned
Cheetos
now?
instead.
Is
Actually.
that- Now that we hate Nando's,
I've been banned 3 times here.
Tell you that.
Cheetos is the bomb.
Just because I ruined Whamageddon for
you ruined your Whamageddon, Michelle.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
That-
Michelle still hasn't forgiven you for
I
that.
survived until like there was about 9 hours left on Christmas Eve, and then I got Whamageddon twice during.
I
the meal
did
with my
not
family.
get Whamageddon at all.
Not
I'm
gonna-
very pleased about that.
Not gonna lie though, the whole situation was funny.
It was quite funny when I heard it. Michelle was just like, I walked into work. Michelle was like, "Yasmin's banned." I was like, "Why? And why do I need to know that now?" Like, it just came out of nowhere. What was the other thing you got banned for?
Oh, what was the other one I got banned for? It wasn't like got banned. It was just like it's for bans, but
It's the same way that I get fired
yeah.
every time I'm here.
Oh, what was the other situation?
It was something like you said you didn't like something, and Michelle was just like, "Get out."
Yeah, I think it was something I did not like that she loved.
Oh, Doritos.
That was right.
Doritos.
You don't like Doritos?
There we go.
Sacrilege!
Alright,
you having the dip?
do you know anyone that doesn't like
Alright, you
Doritos?
gotta have the dip.
The only one- the only
Change your
kind-
whole
Do you know
perspective.
anyone that
do it
doesn't like
on
Doritos?
Instagram.
I know someone who doesn't like cheese, just
Chip and
generally.
dip.
See,
and-
the thing
How
is,
dare you?
I don't-
Chaos Monkey, hi!
I don't like
Yay,
the
thanks
cheesy
for joining us on
Doritos.
Twitch.
For
What
reasons.
about chili
Nice
heat
to meet
wave?
you.
The
Cheesy
cheesy
wave.
was
nice.
average. I like that.
The
Okay,
cool,
so I
the
might
cool
have
ones are
fixed
good with dip.
Spider-Man, I may be able to play it now.
Yes.
Very
Oh, no.
moist that way.
I like barbecue ones.
Actually,
Come on,
no.
Spidey.
I think I got kicked out for saying a word that just did not sound right.
All right, okay. Before you guys go, I do need to, because these guys are leaving, some of our regulars are leaving. I do need to ask this question because this is a debate that the three of us have a lot. What's the best kind of Pringles? Oh, we'll go down the line. Hold on.
Sweet chili.
Okay.
Sweet chili?
I don't think there is
chili?
sweet chili. There's no sweet
There are,
chili.
no, there are sweet chili Pringles. He's
Sweet
right,
chili or
yeah.
paprika?
Paprika. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with paprika.
You two?
Sour cream.
No!
Classic
okay.
sour cream.
That's
no?
okay.
Yeah, sour
Sour
cream.
cream. I'm a salt and vinegar person.
No,
I know I'm in
I'm
the minority, but
Prawn cocktail.
I love
oh
sour
yeah, you're
cream.
weird.
Sour
Prawn
cream's the
cocktail.
best.
You're
Prawn
just weird.
cocktail crisps are so good.
But
I
Pringles?
second that.
But Pringles?
You know what would be
Prawn cocktail
heaven?
Pringles.
You know
That's what
it'd be-
he said.
Oh my god,
You know,
no, never mind.
you know what would be heaven if they made Heinz tomato ketchup flavored Pringles.
They used to do that with Walkers.
Am I right?
Oh,
Walkers used to do
Am I
that.
right?
The one that I would love to try is the pizza one they have in America.
No,
I've
I've
had
tried
that,
the
it's
UK pizza
disappointing.
one and it's awful. I was
It's
eating it
not-
last night
it's
actually.
not great. It's just like a weird meat.
What would you,
Right,
what
Beast,
would you
what
say
are
is
we
the
doing?
worst one?
The worst one, a prawn cocktail.
Chaos Monkey says sour cream and chives. I haven't tried new ones, and prawn cocktail is amazing. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much.
I've not tried the prawn cocktail
I didn't
once,
know
I
that,
need to
yeah.
try that.
I'll take
It's
the
nice,
barbecue
but I
ones
just like
because that
sour
is
cream
by far the
and
best.
onion ones.
Right,
See-
okay, I should be able to web sling now.
Okay.
Way!
Right.
That's my
I'm
bug. See you
good,
guys
I'm
later.
good.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.
Yeah.
Beast, come on.
Okay, now we can talk about how much we hate those
Over the
guys.
tutorial. Where are we going?
See ya. Have a great night.
Oh no, I just Spider-Man on
Are
that
you doing
wall.
tutorial?
Oh, what's that? More Spider-Maning. Where am I going?
I don't know.
Follow the thing.
Follow the
I
yellow
need to
brick
go this
road.
way. No, what are you doing? Spidey?
That's really. That's actually kind of gross the way he landed.
I'm web crawling. What?
The way he landed was kind of gross.
Yeah, that's whole game's gross.
I'm just kidding.
This is PS1 graphics.
PS1
Right,
graphics are great.
jump and press. Oh, to double swing? Okay. I think this is jump? Yeah, okay.
So we're gonna talk
Jump!
about. We're
Double swing! No! Whoa!
gonna talk about Bandersnatch.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna talk about some
Talking
Bandersnatch.
game.
No, we can't.
No,
According,
I'm
according
really-
to Dean, we really can't.
We've been through
Established
this.
we
Where's
can't.
that guy? I want to beat up that guy.
Dean, he's in Australia.
No, not Dean. Why is Duke Nukem in this?
Don't know. Why are
I've
there
not
people?
played this for so long.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah,
right.
Malcolm liked the Duke Nukem on Xbox.
I like the character. The game's kind of rough.
That was our first Duke Nukem though. For our age
I'm gonna
range.
web yank this guy.
Please stop being just.
Alright, so I need to
uncomfortable.
aim. Oh, up is down, down is up. I need to aim and then
It's
web
inverted.
yank. Is it triangle? Yep. Oh, I missed him.
Oh, I like that
Alright.
he stopped. He stopped. Oh, someone's nearby.
Web yank. Got him. Where's
Is
the other
that-
guy?
Does that count?
That counts.
No, he's in the
Oh,
background. You're way too high.
Right. Oh no. I can't. What's going on with this controller?
You can't go down to where he
Right,
is.
I'm gonna go D-pad because this is wrong. Come on, where are you, buddy?
He's up.
Up is
You
down
see
and
him?
down is up. It's just wrong. Come on. Oh, I missed
Ooh,
him. Right,
missed
okay.
him.
I'm gonna have to go over there and.
Beat him up.
I don't know
That's
anything
the
on that.
You knocked him over without being nearby.
Ooh. No, no.
Swung and missed.
I'm gonna miss. Okay, so sorry. Bandersnatch. You want to
Bandersnatch.
talk about Bandersnatch?
Are you guys having a tournament? Did you lose really fast there?
They're playing. Was it
Tekken 5.
Tekken 5. Yeah, good shout.
That's a good choice. Yeah, some.
These instructions are not coming up on screen. I don't know why.
That's a
Camera reorientate. Thank you. Am I
So, yeah.
going up there now?
Some Bandersnatch.
Yeah, Bandersnatch. Has anyone seen it online?
Yes, sir.
You're not online.
Oh.
Ian says can't play it. No, oh god, this guy can't play it normal Andrew instead of inverted. No, it is normal, and I like inverted. I am a freak. I know. We've been through this.
Then why were you confused about it being inverted?
It's
if you
not
like?
inverted. That's the point.
Is that Beast?
Beast, your tutorial is rotten.
Beast
You're
is
not
gone
telling me to
already.
do anything.
Why would
Where am
why
I going
Beast? Why is Beast the person they think that would tutorial Spider-Man?
Is this the original Spider-Man?
This is Spider-Man 2 Enter
No.
Electro.
Oh.
Why am I
On
alright,
PS1.
Okay, so if I do that and then
I've played it. I think it's awesome. Cobra.
It's a
Is
great
Cobra,
game.
is Cobra the best Marco?
yes.
Yeah, because I thought it was Cobra something else, but yeah. I also like. Right, so Marco used an interesting phrase in the Twitter chat.
Okay.
Marco said, "I have played it."
Like what?
Bandersnatch.
Okay.
Um,
So you're still talking Spider-Man, but okay.
no. I mean, he might be talking about both, but we don't know.
No idea.
It's Marco. He likes all things. Also, this is slightly lagging behind us in real life, so it's probably.
That's fine.
Um.
Beast, you're not giving me any intro.
Okay.
Sorry, Bandersnatch. We're
Bandersnatch.
trying to talk.
I am giving you my review of Bandersnatch, having played it for 2 hours. No.
Ah.
I don't think I have played it. Played it for 2 hours. Played it. Not watched it. I have played Bandersnatch.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what I think a lot of people would agree with. It's
for it.
not a movie. It is 100% a visual novel.
Ooh.
It's just. It is.
That's not how it summarizes it.
It is the
has
highest.
potential.
It is the highest production value visual novel I have ever seen in my life.
Okay.
But it is a visual novel and not a film, and I am insulted by the fact that media outlets like Vulture are saying the state-of-the-art, brand new technology when people have had visual novels since before I was born.
Oh, I think they had to develop a lot for Netflix though, like to get the options anyway.
How? Why does? But it's not new state-of-the-art technology if you were doing it before this game came out.
Okay, so
This is-
Bandersnatch.
I have a question.
There's a few people online who don't know what Bandersnatch is. So, Happy Hunter says, what exactly is Bandersnatch?
What is Bundersnooch?
Ah, Bundersnooch. So Bandersnatch is Netflix made.
I love more.
So, okay, going back to when I was in primary school in the
Take it way back.
1990s.
Take it way back.
Way back, man. So when I was in primary school in the 1990s, part of our primary school library, you could pick up adventure books. These were big in the 80s and 90s, not so much so in the 2000s.
I read
and
them in the
onwards.
2000s, but I was a nerd.
But yeah, I'm sure you're a nerd, you can't
Did
find it.
you read one?
You
I
turned
read
the
it.
Russian, Bundersnatch, yeah.
Bundersnatch.
So Bandersnatch is based
Banter
on
bunch.
these adventure books. So it's a
Banter
choose your own
bunch.
adventure book. Funnily enough,
Bandersnatch.
Michelle and I got Yoshi some adventure books, choose your own adventure books last Christmas, not this Christmas, but the Christmas previous,
You gave me
which he hasn't touched. But the choose your own adventure book, basically you start off with the first chapter, and at the end of that chapter you have multiple choices, sometimes just two, sometimes more than that, and it'll give you a page number at the end of that choice. You then go to that page and continue the story from there, and then after that chapter it'll give you another option, and then you basically make your own story, so you choose your own adventure as you go through it. So Bandersnatch was a TV premise made by
the producers of Black Mirror.
Bruce of Black Mirror. It was actually oh god, what's his name?
Charlie
Brooker.
Brooker?
Who does most of the writing for Black Mirror. He took the premise of a choose your own adventure book and then wanted to turn it into a TV show. So the TV show, if you go
It's
on
a
Netflix,
visual novel.
it's a visual novel.
Don't air quotes that. It's a visual novel.
So you basically go through the first chapter, at the end of it you are given choices and you make your choice and it takes you on a different route or a different storyline depending on which choices you make. So you make your own movie. It can last anything from 40 minutes up to an hour and a half. Sometimes, I think the longest one's 2 hours 15 minutes.
I played it for
Get in
2
there?
hours total and had like 3 different endings.
Yeah, there you go. So, but it was released by Netflix December 15th or something like that, just before Christmas.
Well, no, after Christmas.
Was it after Christmas?
It must have been because all the hype has been recently.
Something like that, yeah. So
It's
you
like
get
the
the
two
chance.
things everyone's been talking about are that and Bird Box, and I wasn't watching Bird Box for this podcast. I'm
was
sorry,
not
people.
bothered about either. It's that horror Sandra Bullock thing. I don't know.
I just don't like. I'm not a fan. Like I'd say this outright. I'm not a fan of horror movies or thrillers. But
Okay.
Bandersnatch is supposed to be that, and it really isn't either. It's not scary. It gives me slight anxiety, but that's because I was eating sweets at midnight. Like I had like a pain in my chest, but it wasn't because I was anxious. It's because I was full of
To
sugar.
be young.
To be.
My chest.
Me and Malcolm were sitting here like, oh, our spines hurt. But so. Like, I want, like,
I can pick up this block.
Awesome.
Hey, chuck it.
do you know what else we should chuck? Bandersnatch. No.
Did you not like it then?
No, right, here's the thing. This is a
I have a question about this, actually.
this is a problem, right? Because whenever me and Malcolm go in to see a film, we come out and I go, that was really good. Here's what I didn't like about it, then here's what I like. And Malcolm goes, so you hated it? I'm like, no, I just have concerns. And I will preface this with like, you should probably question if I like the legitimacy of me talking about this because I was preparing to do it for this podcast. So it might be that I was overly critical, but I don't think I was. I think in line with what I normally think about movies and video games, this is pretty what I would have thought.
Yeah.
And what I think is, I wouldn't play it again. I think it's a video game. I do not think it is a movie. And I get annoyed that people are steering away from that. I would like to say this first. I want people not to steer away from the idea that it's a visual novel because this can only be good for the visual novel genre. I know there's a lot of people who play those games who don't feel like they're treated fairly in terms of gaming. Everyone goes, well, visual novels aren't real games, and then people go, what's a visual novel, and things like that. So I think steering away from the idea that it's the same thing is bad when we have an opportunity here to make visual novels more appealing to a wider market, get more people to play them, and justify them more as games. If you take Bandersnatch as a visual novel and not a interactive movie,
Okay.
which isn't a real thing.
This is my. I propose a question to you.
Yeah,
So,
what's your question?
did you not get a bit like?
Oh no, it's fine.
Well, I don't know. That I got a bit
See if
fatigued.
you can play
wanting
while
to get
talking.
every single
Retry.
ending.
Yeah,
Um,
I gave up on that because I knew I wasn't going to get to it. But the thing is, like, it's obvious. Like, there's so many like decisions you have to make that it's obvious what's going to prolong the game.
Okay, so Ian, Chaos Monkey on Twitch has said he hasn't seen Bandersnatch, but he's asking if we heard that one of the lead actors left.
Yes,
Twitter
I was
due
going to talk
hate.
about that.
Yeah.
And he's the actor I actually genuinely like. So
The
I'll
lead
take this
actor,
back.
the main guy. Oh,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the
play
main guy.
play it
It was Colin. So
He's
Will
the guy
Poulter.
from We're the Millers.
Who's
the
not
bloody
just
guy?
We're the Millers,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
also,
yeah,
I forgot he was in
yeah,
Son of, I forgot he was in Son of Rambo
he
as
was
well.
in Toy Story as well. Did you see that?
Oh, shut up.
That's good.
I like him as an actor. I don't think he's a good at being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
To be honest. Not like in purpose, but like he's good at being characters that you kind of go, it's just something I don't like about him. But I like him as an actor. I also like the dad, is something I want to say. The dad, the way he played that character, and the way Colin was played, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But again, video game, not movie. High production value video game.
See, that's what I kept getting confused with. So I was watching it as I would a film, but see, since it's not supposed to sort of be that, it's supposed to be sort of a game hybrid. I was like playing it so much. I was playing it for about 3 hours. Like trying to get every ending, and then by the end of it, I was like, I hate this. I was like slamming
Yeah, that's
my
the other
laptop
thing is
down.
like you're right. You get fatigue where you have to redo the thing,
Yeah. Oh.
and then like it's just a case of I got frustrated having to redo it. Like there's like I wasn't invested enough in the story to be like, okay, I'll go back and change like my decisions. And like I say, it's clear what's going to prolong it and what's not. And as soon as you get a finish after 45 minutes, you're like, well, that can just be the conclusive end to me. I don't need to replay all of this again. That's not necessary.
I guess. Once
Like-
you find your own, but that's the same with any adventure book. If you get to the end of an adventure that you enjoyed, then you put the book away.
Marco, how long did you get into it? How far? Because you say you only did one playthrough, so I want to know, were you making conscious decisions not to take the things that would have ended it quickly? Like, I want to know that from people, because there's no point in playing it if you know what, like, all the answers were obvious to be like, this will end the game immediately if you pick this, which was like...
Really? Like the first question, the first option.
Were you going to say the first question?
No.
The first question was, would you like Frosties or would you like Sugar Puffs? And it wouldn't let me pick Frosties because it crashed the game every time I clicked Frosties. That's not a joke. I clicked Frosties and it crashed 3 times, and I was like, I don't think I want to go through with this game if it won't let me pick Frosties over Sugar Puffs. Yeah. And I was convinced that that was probably like part of the joke of the game, because it's filled with stupid humour as well. Like, I was fairly concerned that that was one of the jokes of the game, and it was like, haha, we don't like Frosties, we prefer Sugar Puffs, so you have to pick Sugar Puffs to make it work. Okay. So I was convinced by that. That annoyed me. That it crashed immediately, picking
actually,
the first thing.
Happy Hunter on YouTube saying that Netflix released Minecraft, where you can make your own choices like a storytelling game. I already knew about this, so it's not the first time that Netflix have done a sort of choose your own adventure. They tested it with Minecraft originally, so there was a story mode version of Minecraft on Netflix. So it was an interactive visual novel, if you will.
Or was that the Telltale game? Or something
There is a Telltale one.
Oh, really? Something
so they'd already tested out
That's
the sort
Mark.
of that genre through Netflix previous to
But because
Bandersnatch.
it's attached to Charlie Brooker and
It got a lot more
Black Mirror, of course people are more interested.
Yeah, it got a lot more.
But it's not really Black, like I've not watched Black Mirror, but isn't it all dystopian?
Have you not watched Black Mirror
I've not
at
watched
all?
any Black
Really?
Mirror.
It's so good.
That's the first
So,
Black Mirror
It's
I've
hit or
watched.
miss, I suppose.
Michelle and I stopped watching Black Mirror after the
First
third
episode.
season or the second season,
Yeah.
because Michelle was getting freaked out because it was so close to the bone.
This
every
isn't.
time- No, it was
This is
no,
so irrational.
Not freaked out, actually, more annoyed at the general populace, because what Charlie Brooker was writing was so close to what was actually happening in the real world, but people are taking it as mass media. They're taking it as fiction, whereas it's based on like actual events. And so those things, I mean, there's a few things that have happened in the original couple of series of Black Mirror that have actually come to light and actually really happened in real life.
Pigs.
And that's so wrong, because Black Mirror, it puts itself out there as a sort of a pastiche or a parody of real life, when actually it is more true to real life than half the fiction that's out there. And so
Michelle was getting annoyed at the fact that people were seeing this and it entertained, but
and
not
then seeing it
changing.
as entertainment and then joking about it as if it's nothing, as if it's just, you know, a piece of entertainment, whereas it's actually a really, really, really horrible statement about the real world that we live in. Horses! Sorry, it's horses outside.
Oh, whoa.
So yeah, we haven't watched any of the newer episodes of Black Mirror, but I would urge everybody to watch it from the start again.
I'm just
it's amazing.
You don't need to watch each episode like in
No,
order.
they are compatible
It's just
stories
more-
of their own. So.
and I know that they're supposed to be dystopian and scary and not dystopian because it's reality,
No,
but it's supposed to make you
Well, yeah, they played off as a
concerned.
dystopian future, or a dystopian version of reality, when actually it's probably closer
Yeah,
to
but I don't
reality.
want to I know this, I've said this so many times, and I know that it's an in some ways unhealthy mindset to have. My existence is predicated on the idea of ignorance is bliss, and so as soon as I start watching shows that remind me how crappy the universe is, it's just gonna make me sad. I'd rather rewatch the same 5 idiots playing a video game or playing a board game for an hour that I've watched the night before than watch about how me trying to use Instagram to promote a business is actually killing the planet. Like, I just can't be bothered with feeling depressed about that.
Is it okay if I buy Diet Coke and
Mega
Mega
Pencil.
Pencil, please? You're gonna need to bar me from these Mega
Grab the
Pencils,
Mega
so-
Pencil, man.
And I would like for you, there you are.
Man,
So I'm
these
finished.
are going to be the death of me.
So,
Anyway, moving
yeah,
on.
Marco, you're right. It is a different what if scenario. And those are good. It's just that it's too sad for me. I've got 2 more things. I've got a negative and a positive left to say.
Okay.
As I said, I would like to stress, I feel it's a visual novel, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying we need to steer into calling it a visual novel so that visual novels get greater representation, and we can make more high budget ones like this that are entertaining rather than just the really rubbishy ones with terrible animation that just make you sad.
Okay,
Like, I would
so
rather have things like this that are
that's a
actually
good thing.
well produced.
Bandersnatch is a good thing because I feel it bridges a gap between gaming and movies or TV shows.
Yeah.
So it takes both of those media types and creates this little in between. So if anything, I mean, video games these days with the graphic fidelity we've got for current, what is Black Mirror based on? What kind of events is Happy Hunter? Just
It's a
everything.
lot. There's a lot.
of different
Social
content.
media, the way the government works with regards
Yeah,
to
each
how
episode is
people-
its own individual story, written by different people, and so it covers a lot of different topics. But you should totally check it out.
So yeah, I think good for visual novels, but we have to call it a visual novel, not a movie, because people keep calling it a movie and it's just not right.
I would take it more as a TV show, and if Netflix had separated it into that sort of, or sort of put it across like that in the way they advertised it, then it would be more true to what it actually is. Whereas the fact that they're calling it an interactive movie,
Yeah, it's just not a real thing.
no.
I already said there's too many jokes. There are some jokes that just take me out of it and doesn't make it. Like I say, I wasn't feeling anxious. I just felt okay. I'm just watching this.
The premise behind it, though, I mean, relating back to arcade, relating back to retro gaming, I thought was really, really cool. Bandersnatch.
Just that it was relating to 1980s gaming.
No, the whole premise behind it, the whole actual base storyline, where it's a book, a choose your own adventure book that's been digitized into a video game, and sort of giving it that sort of feel and that look and that opportunity to be to sort of shine a light on the Spectrum, Commodore.
That's
and
also
sort of
excellent
the development and coding of those games.
for retro gaming, which I think
Yeah.
is perfect for showing Charlie Brooker as a fan of that stuff.
Totally.
Don't know if he is,
No,
but it
yes,
suggests
he really
is.
is. I've been following Charlie Brooker for, God, like 8 years.
Can't remember. I
A long time.
saw him in some things.
Um,
I also think the jokes took me out of it and the writing took me out of it. That sounds really bad because it's a good concept, but there were so many moments in the film where characters are referencing the fact that you're choosing what they do, and I'm like, I don't need his therapist to be making reference to the fact that I'm making decisions for him.
did you get to the fight scene?
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't need that. Marco wants to see it on Mega CD. I just don't need it. I just don't need the jokes, and just make. If you're gonna make it a movie, make it a movie. If you're gonna make it a jokey visual novel, Marco also just said visual novel kind of takes away from the idea. It's an interactive story. I think you've left the building. It's like it's an interactive story, not a visual novel. That terminology takes away from it, and I sort of get what he means.
I guess so. Moving forward, I mean, oh, crumbs.
You're getting beat up by Duke Nukem. I will say a positive. I have a list of positive things. The first thing that comes to mind is I didn't necessarily like the way it was filmed, but I like the way it was filmed to maximise how much money they spent on it.
Okay.
So things like they hid a lot of the modern day stuff by focusing on the old school things. So when he's going to Woolworths to buy music, it focuses the angle of the camera on Woolworths and following the characters. He walks towards Woolworths and makes that very bright and gives all the characters walking towards the camera an 80s feel. Whereas you can, if you look to the left, see buildings that are very clearly derelict buildings from 2018. Like they're not everything there is designed to look 80s, but the way they've shot the film makes you not have to see those things. So it's a good way of making a film that you have to have different endings to if you film it in such a way that you can conserve the budget. I thought it was good. I really like that. Equally, there are a lot of questions I want answered from the show, from the movie, from the game. So I would be tempted to replay it. As I've already said, I didn't dislike it, but I'm not pushed to go and play it again.
Okay.
But there was a lot of things I wanted answered that were interesting. Like it's definitely like things like why he had an obsession with his dad's cigarettes.
What?
He had an obsession with his dad smoking and his dad's cleanliness, which
I didn't get that.
which I
didn't get that either.
there's a lot of scenes where he's
there's
a lot of scenes where he's staring at his dad putting out cigarettes.
Oh.
And then there's the bit where he's like, you've got meat juice on your hands, and like he's focusing on his dad's hands a lot, which I thought was interesting, and I wanted to understand more of. I wanted to understand the relationship between Colin and Kitty more. There's things that I liked about it that I would want to see. I also thought that the section where he's listening to the tape that Colin recorded for him, talking about the person who wrote Bandersnatch, was really interesting as a scene, and I just enjoyed that a huge amount compared to like aspects of it I wasn't as keen on. And equally, like I say, it's just the highest budget visual novel I've ever seen. And it's just positive. It's just a positive for visual novels. Never mind, like I don't care if it's a movie or not. It's a visual novel, and it's good for that. It's good for that genre.
Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm kind of done with Bandersnatch, but there was one thing that came out because we're talking about movies that I'm sure people hate this franchise, but it came up and it was interesting.
Okay.
Marvel's decisions with Endgame adverts. So the next
What?
big Marvel blockbuster is the second half of Infinity War, which is
Endgame.
Marvel's Endgame, and they've announced, and this, so with the one for Infinity War, the adverts had scenes in them that weren't in the movie. They weren't even cut from the movie, they just weren't in the movie.
This is the Russos and their misdirection. This always happens.
But they've changed it this time. So for Endgame, all the clips you see in the adverts are only going to be taken from the first 15 minutes of the film.
Just popped up.
Have they come out and said that?
They've said that.
Okay.
So, although Malcolm's looking at
No,
the
it just,
score
it
right
just
now.
popped out.
Yeah.
On my feed.
That puts to bed one of my theories, or one of the theories.
I don't
read
want to hear
online.
theories because I'm trying to avoid all spoilers. Or I've not even watched the Endgame teaser, but I just think it's really interesting of them to do that. I think that's a good decision, but like to just make it the first 15 minutes so that people can see how much hype is in 15 minutes of content. I mean, the
Probably
full
also to just not give away too
That would
much.
answer that question.
yeah.
Fair enough. No, because the theory that, and I'm going to say it anyway, I don't care if you're following theories, but the theory that I read online was that the trailer is the reverse of what the actual movie will happen in the movie.
That's stupid.
And the whole Stark section at the end, at the start of the trailer is actually at the end of the movie, and so that would be the last we ever see of Tony Stark. That was a theory that I was reading online. I can't. That's such
You just
a
got
shame.
beaten up.
Yeah,
You just got palmed to the ground by a guy with guns, and that killed you. He didn't even shoot you to kill you. He just went, and you died.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, so that was a theory I saw online. If that's all from the first 15 minutes in the movie, then fair, that's fine.
I think it's interesting.
But that doesn't stop the Russos from then lying about what is
Yeah,
actually.
they
in
can,
the
and they
movie.
can
No.
put things that are like
I mean,
as
the big thing that was from Infinity War was the shot of all of the Avengers running towards the camera at that sort of forested bit.
Yeah, which wasn't there.
Which never existed in the movie whatsoever. Actually, well, a version of that existed
Okay.
for a split second, and it was, I think, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Black Widow were there. But the bit from the trailer has the Hulk in the background. He definitely wasn't at that part.
Yeah.
Because obviously what
Wasn't in
happened
the
with Hulk. He didn't come out for the rest of the movie.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for that movie. That's why I'm saying I'm avoiding spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming out this year.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Still got Captain Marvel first as well. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I haven't watched any adverts for that either.
You haven't watched the trailer? Just to see-
Mostly just because, again, I don't really want any of it spoiled. I'm just going to go in blind.
Just to see Sam L as a younger.
We could watch Glass and see him as a younger person. I'm actually interested to see those movies as well.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen the first two, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's basically everything I had for this week. Is there anything that's happened in the shop? that we
Oh,
haven't-
Ian says he's going to go. Thanks for, and he says you just lost the game.
Okay. So he's not watching us anymore?
Hopefully not. Yeah, and he's also barred from arcade for forever now.
So it's him and Yasmin? Okay.
Yeah, well done.
That's everything I've got for this week. Next Sunday is R-CADE's 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
And so we're doing events. We're doing events that weekend. We're doing.
we announced our event.
Yeah, we've announced the event that is if you book online, you can get gaming for an hour for £1.
Yep.
Instead of the normal £5.
Yep.
It's limited to 1 ticket per person, so that we can maximise how many of our wonderful customers get a chance to come in for such a low price. We just want to see as many faces as we can. If you don't get a chance to buy a ticket in advance for that, you can always just swing down to hang out. The cafe side will be open as normal. And we just want to see people, just say what's up, play some games, have fun. Are we doing things on Saturday night? We are, but we've not announced them yet.
Chaos Monkey says go stuff yourself.
Oh, okay. We're doing stuff on the Saturday night.
I'm going to go get some food after this, so yeah.
Oh, I'm hungry too.
Thank you.
We're doing stuff on the Saturday night, but we've not announced what it is.
Yeah, so we're going to have a big birthday blowout on Saturday evening,
birthday
the
blowout.
19th. What?
Nothing, I'm just saying big birthday
Big birthday
blowout.
blowout. Oh look, it's a Michelle!
Oh my god!
Yay!
As
So yeah,
well
big
as
birthday blowout
that,
on the 19th.
a week from today, so the 15th. Yes.
Sorry, I'm reading comments.
The 15th is our next podcast. It is the same week as our 1 year anniversary, and I made sure that this was specifically quite a general podcast. There's no main topic other than
General
Bandersnatch,
podcast?
really. General podcast, goddamn. So that the idea being that next Tuesday we can go through a year of arcade.
All
I have
right.
questions set for you
Okay.
about things that we can talk about. I can give you the questions in advance if you want to have answers, or I can just shoot from the hip.
I like to be unprepared, so as you can probably tell.
Yeah, it's always
So
unprepared.
yeah, shoot from the hip.
Yeah, and we have lots of things to talk about with regards to that just being 1 year. And people always, if you haven't seen the BBC Social thing, people love to see your opinions and things and talk about your opinions and things. So it's just to get some background on the year.
Didn't know my opinions mattered that much, but thank you.
Not to me, but someone out there likes them.
Yeah, so just fire through a quick recap of this week. So this week, Thursday, is Japan Club.
Japan.
We're all going to be learning to speak Japanese.
Yes.
Yes, which is awesome.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Friday and Saturday. So Friday is Arcade Lates. I almost said the old one there. So Arcade Lates is on Friday, over 18s only, 7 o'clock till late. Bring your own bottle. Arcade charge in full effect.
We're excited about this, despite how Andrew currently looks at the camera.
I am really excited. Actually,
We have to play games with our customers.
So the group that were in last Friday,
Swinging by again.
they're coming back, but
know.
they're going to be 2 individual
I know,
parties. who are
and I
coming
can't
back
wait to
at
see
the
all you
same
guys.
time,
Look
so
forward
it's
to
going
seeing
to
you,
be busy. On top of that, Saturday I'm going to throw on a Guitar Hero sessions as well, which is on screen right now.
It is on screen.
So I'm going to throw together that. That's going to go live later on tomorrow, I believe. Sunday, there's nothing planned.
Sunday. Then the following week is Tuesday, another
We're
day
back.
of Tuesdays. On
Yes,
the Tuesday,
our new offer. Sorry,
new
I
offer.
forgot to
Yeah,
mention
if
that.
you get a half hour or an hour's worth of game time, your friend plays for
So
free.
player 2s play for free. So
As
you
well
can-
as that usual podcast 6 till 7, we'll be talking about everything arcade, and then anniversary stuff at the weekend. So
Yeah.
swing on by for any of those things. Again, we appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much
A
for
year
watching.
next week.
Yeah.
And,
We'll see you next week.
have a great night.
We're going to close up. So.
Bye.